Hi, you guys. Lady ReShell here, author of Take Charge of Cancer, founder of Warriors Talk, where we empower individuals to take action that leads to a healthier lifestyle. This is day 14 of our 31 days of 31 facts in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And tonight we're going to talk about cancer survivorship. Let's go. All right, so day 14, and we're talking about the phases of cancer survivorship. Do me a favor, like, share the show, invite somebody else in so that they can get this information. We know that knowledge is power. So, again, we're talking about the different phases of survivorship. So, let's talk about the definition of what survivorship is. And it actually focuses on the health and well being of a person with cancer from the time of diagnosis until the end of their life. So, whenever you ask somebody, are you a cancer survivor? Sometimes, if people are still fighting cancer, excuse me, they don't like to say that they are a survivor. But according to the American Cancer Society and the National Cancer Institute, they consider you a survivor at the time of diagnosis, all the way up until you're no longer here on the earth. So, regardless if you want to be called a survivor or not, that is the definition. So, we're going to talk about what survivorship looks like. And keep in mind that survivorship for each individual may look a little different. So, what's working for one person may not work for another person. We do know that each cancer individual, their diagnosis is unique to that person. And so, although the diagnosis may be the same, each individual may be going through it differently. They may be handling it differently. Their bodies may be reacting to the treatment differently. Their mindset may be different. So survivorship may looks different for those people. What we do know is that as of 2019, it is estimated that there are 16.9 million cancer survivors in the US. That's a lot. It's a lot. And we're working on getting that number to be even higher by spreading the awareness and turning your awareness into action. We just don't want to be aware, but we want to turn that awareness into action to make sure that we are being proactive with our health. So let's talk about really quick the new normal. So whenever you're diagnosed with cancer and you're going through all of this treatment, you may have some body parts amputated, you may have lost your hair. You may have to go through treatment to get your mind right as well as your physical right. And so now you have to figure out how to deal with cancer now that you have been diagnosed. And many of us, we try to create a new normal as it relates to a cancer diagnosis. And again, that could be physical and it could be mental. And again, everybody's normal looks different. So don't compare yourself to another person that has had a cancer diagnosis and you see that they're thriving, they're doing this and doing that. And then you're looking at yourself like, wow, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong? Everybody's different. So pace yourself and take your time to create what your new normal looks like and what's achievable and approachable for you. So with a cancer diagnosis, we know that all of the side effects sometimes don't always come when you're taking the medicine, right? When you're actively in treatment. Sometimes the side effects doesn't come until years months and years later, and now you're dealing with the side effects of the cancer treatment. And some of those things can mess with your heart, it can mess with your lungs, it can mess with your eyes. Some people get lymphedema, some people have neuropathy, some people have chemo brain. So those are just some of the different side effects that can happen even well after you are done with cancer treatment. So let's talk about the 4 seasons of survivorship and what that looks like. So the first one is the acute survivorship. And this one is at the start of diagnosis and it goes through the end of the initial treatment. And the focus is cancer treatment. So I can remember just going through my treatment, going through chemo, and how focused the doctor was on getting me through that chemo. I remember having a fever of 103, and I came in that day because they always take your temperature. And she said, my general doctor was like, you're not going to get treatment today, not with that fever. It's probably just going to make it worse. And so my oncologist said, oh no, we're going to push you through treatment. Like, we're not going to break treatment. So she pushed me through treatment that day, gave me some medicine for the fever, and pushed me through it. So the focus is really on, let's get this medicine in the body so that it can attack the cancer, so that you can be well. So that's what the acute survivorship is. And we know acute is like short term, so it's not a long term thing. So you're not expected to be in treatment for a long period of time, but the main focus is going to be on treatment only. And I'm telling you, you get tunnel vision when you're going through. And a lot of times when you come out of the treatment, life is just passing you by and you like, oh wow. And everybody's telling you, oh yeah, so and so did this, oh so this happened, and you just like, where was I? But you were focused on getting well. And the last thing you need to be focused on is everything else that's going on in the world when you're trying to heal. So focus on yourself. So the second season of survivorship is the transitional survivorship. And this one is when your treatment has ended and you are months after out of treatment, right? So now the focus is on the effects of the treatment and the effects of cancer. So now that you have had the treatment, right, that was in the acute survivorship stage, and now they want to know, what effects did this treatment have on you? So now they're transitioning you out of treatment, right? And now they want to look at you and figure out what type of issues you're going to have because of the treatment. So they're going to be watching you really closely. And in this stage, and in this stage and the first stage, you're constantly being monitored closely. I remember after so I was going to my treatment for chemo every Friday. And then when I had the radiation, I went for 33, I had 33 treatments. So I got up every morning at 8 o'clock. I had to be there to have my radiation treatments. And that was like 33 days of treatment with no breaks. So I think I had the weekend was my breaks, so I didn't have to go the Saturday and Sunday, but I went straight with the weeks for the 33 treatments. So they want to focus on making sure that the treatment did work and how to address any side effects that you may have as a result of that treatment. So it's like they want to hurry up and get ahead of it, right? So once you're done with the treatment, now you're going to enter in the third phase of the survivorship season, which is the extended one. And this is when, you're done with treatment and your doctor has told you, you don't have to come to see me every 3 months anymore. Now you can come see me every 6 months. And so you're like, what? Oh my God. And let me tell you, during this extended survivorship phase, I got really nervous because this is the time when survivors they start feeling anxious, they start feeling depressed, they start feeling isolated because they were so used to somebody watching them and monitoring them. And now they're wondering, like, if nobody's monitoring me, who's going to watch and be able to tell if this cancer came back? So, I mean, this is supposed to be a happy stage, but then again, it's a worrisome stage, because the survivors are now on their own, when at one point in time they had somebody guiding them with their appointments and everything was really done for them. So now you have to take control of your health, control of, okay, now I got to make sure that I'm putting a survivor care plan into action and asking my doctor what the survivorship looks like now that I'm done. What should I be doing now that I'm done? How many times should I see you now that I'm done? How should I be eating? Should I be exercising? What are some things that I should be done to help minimize my risk of this cancer coming back? And those are some things that you should be discussing with your doctor when you get to the extended survivorship stage, because this is the stage that they're going to push you off on your own to deal with your cancer. I mean, to deal with your the side effects and everything else. So this is the stage to where you are going to have to take charge of your own health journey and get back on track, and just make sure that you have some type of accountability plan in place, so that you will be able to make sure that you're not missing any appointments, any follow-up appointments, or anything like that. Right. So when my doctor pushed me off, I came into an appointment and she said, "Today is going to be our last day, ReShell. We have been seeing each other for the last 5 years, and you're doing very well. And I think you will be okay, going to see your general doctor. And if any issues come up, as it relates to cancer, then you will come back here. But I'm releasing you to your general doctor." And that was in November of 2018, was it? Or either June of 2018. I think it was like June of 2018. I got so nervous. I was so nervous. I was so scared. My heart was beating so fast. And I was just like, oh no, like, oh wow, like this is not, I felt a level of comfort going to, even though I had this anxiety going there every 3 months, because I'm like, oh God, is she's gonna find anything? Oh God, but have I gained some weight? Oh God, did I lose some weight? Like all of those things, go through your mind, you know and so when she was releasing me, I felt like, who's gonna be there to monitor me in that way? But she let me go. And at some point you have to get off on your own and be able to take, again, control of your health. So the fourth season to survivorship is the permanent survivorship season, and it's the chronic one. And we all know that a chronic disease is something that is long term, is lasting. Some of them don't have an end, and so the chronic stage indicates that the disease is present long term, right? And that you're living with an advanced stage of cancer, but they're managing it with some type of treatment, right? So at this point, you have gotten to a level in your life to where your life is really revolved around the treatment. And I do see people that has stage 4 cancer enjoying their life and not allowing it to disrupt their life. So we know that it's manageable. It's just a chronic disease that you're going to be living with for the rest of your life. So those are the 4 different survivorship seasons. So again, you have the acute one, which is from the initial diagnosis to the end of treatment. And then you have the transitional one, is where you're transitioning out of treatment and you're dealing with the side effects of treatment. And then the third one is the extended survivorship, is when your doctors say, okay, boo boo, it's time to go. You're on your own. You have done great. And now it's time to take charge of your health and live your life. And then the fourth one is you are in the advanced stages of cancer, but they're managing it. And you just know that you're going to be on some type of treatment plan for the rest of your life, that you're dealing with this cancer. Now, sometimes people deal with what they call survivor's remorse. And I know this is something that I dealt with when when my father passed away from cancer, because he was diagnosed after me. And just to see him succumb to cancer, it really broke my heart. And I felt like, Lord, why am I here? Why did you leave me here and take my father? Why couldn't my father see himself healed? Like I wanted him to see himself healed out, I wanted him to see his hair grow back, and I wanted to see him gain his weight back, and I wanted him to just witness, God's healing, like I felt, God did for me, and I wanted that for him. So I had, and I still have, the survivor's remorse, even with my sister that passed away in 2010 before me. I still have that survivor's remorse because I feel like it it could have been me, why it wasn't me. And then even when I have sister survivor friends that pass away, and I'm just like, Lord, like what, like why? So survivor's remorse is a real thing, and it's something that I know a lot of cancer survivors deal with every single time, we're dealing with somebody, or we find out that somebody has passed. So I want you to know, that survivorship, again, it looks different for every different survivor, right? Because our cancers were different, and our cancers were unique to our own individual cells. So the recovery part is going to look different, and we're all at different levels at different times, and everybody heals differently. So some people can snap back and go, and some people, it may take them a little longer to get to where they need to be. So let's talk about some of the common um, some of the common things that happen um, after a cancer. Like, what are some of the things that people say or they're thinking? Just some of the common reactions that people have after cancer, which includes sometimes you have a greater appreciation for life, right? You look at life differently, and you just embrace it more. If you go outside and you see the leaves falling, you look at it and you just embrace God's creation, right? So you're just appreciating of your time. You're not letting anybody waste your time. You're not wasting time. You're conquering your plans, and you're being more, or you should be more serious about life. And then the second common reaction that people have after cancer is that being more accepting of themselves, because sometimes we are so hard on ourselves. And so after that, you start looking at yourself, and you look at yourself like, I just fought cancer and I'm still here. So you look at yourself differently, and you're more accepting of your body, because you saw your body go through this catastrophic experience. And so you look at yourself and you say, you know what, I love myself and I'm happy with myself. And sometimes you're just glad that you're here, that you're living. So another thing that people feel after dealing with cancer is that they do, and I experienced this, you feel more anxious with your health, right? You are paying attention to every little thing, every little pain, every little mark on your body. You're paying attention to it, and you're anxious because in the back of your head, you're thinking like, is this cancer back? And that I don't ever think that will go away. I think it diminishes a little bit, and you don't think about it every day. But I think that at some point in time, it's still right there in the back of your head. So another thing that people deal with after cancer is not knowing how to cope when treatment ends. This one, and the reason for this one is because you are so closely monitored that when they release you and let you go on your own, you feel helpless, and you feel like you can't make it. You feel like you're going to do something wrong to cause that cancer to come back. So those are the different stages or phases of survivorship as it relates to a cancer diagnosis. And just to give you some statistics, because sometimes people like the statistics, and it just holds more weight when you're talking about cancer. So the number of people who have had cancer has gone up greatly in the last 45 years, right? The last 45 years, we know for ourselves that the number has gone up, because I can remember just growing up all the way up until maybe I was 19. I remember a lady at my church that her name was Catherine Walker. I remember her dying of stomach cancer, right? And before that, I hadn't heard of anybody dying of cancer. She was the first one. And then after her was my sister. So that was a long span of time. And then my father, that I really heard or knew somebody closely to me that passed away from cancer. So, and this was, they saying like back in the 70s, it was only 3 million people with cancer, and now we know that number is higher than that. 16.9 million people right now in the US, you guys. So I'm gonna just instruct you to be kind to individuals who are dealing with cancer, who are going through treatment, who are at the end of treatment, who are on the opposite side of going through treatment. Just be kind, because again, everybody's survivorships looks different. Everybody is healing on a different level. People are still searching for their new normal, and every day, I'm not going to say every day is a struggle, every day is a blessing, but guarantee that they're dealing with something on a daily basis. So just be kind to someone who, may have had a cancer diagnosis. I'm not saying like really go out of your way to be kind. Just be kind, and sometimes you just have to be patient. Even like with chemo brain, because sometimes I talk, and then if somebody asks me something, I'm talking and I forget what was the question, what did they say, or sometimes I get lost in mid thought. And I know that happens because of that, but it doesn't happen often, but it happens. And I know that at some point in time I do get neuropathy, and I just wait until it passes. So, and I have lymphedema in the arm, where the other side of the breast cancer, so I just kind of like work out with it, and it doesn't bother me, it doesn't handicap me in any way. So just be kind to an individual who has been through, this horrific battle, and they fought so hard to be here, and just, allow them their space to heal. Allow them their space to heal. So thank you guys so much. I am so excited because this is day 14 of the 31 days in breast cancer awareness month, that we're giving you 31 facts. So I just want you guys to have the power to change your awareness into action, and just don't be so stuck on the awareness, because a lot of times we get the information about awareness and we do nothing, right? We don't go make any mammogram appointments. We don't talk to our family about the history or anything. We don't talk to our doctors about our cancer risk, seeing what our cancer risk is. All we do is buy a pink item and think we have conquered the world. No, you have to do more. So I'm encouraging you to turn your awareness into action, so that we can move closer to getting a cure for cancer, or move closer to reducing your risk of cancer, because that's really the key, is reducing your risk, and not having a cancer diagnosis in the first place. And I know they push early detection, but early detection means you got to go through some treatment. It may not be as much treatment as somebody else is going through if they are diagnosed at a later stage, but it does mean that you're going to go through some type of treatment. And just because you're diagnosed early doesn't mean that cancer won't come back, and doesn't mean that you won't die from it. So yeah, so that's the good news. That's the good news, right? So the good news is, you can take control. You can take control of your health, and you can do more. You can do better by turning your awareness into action. So, you guys, I have to make my announcement about my 5th annual Survivors Night of Reflection Gala. It is taking place on Saturday, October the 23rd, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Ruby Brownstone Infinity Banquet Hall, 10244 South Vincennes in Chicago. And our theme for that night is Empowering the Warrior Within. We have Lisa Adams, who is our guest speaker on that night. She is an award-winning author, a filmmaker, and she is the founder of the Lisa Adams Group. And then we have the Master of Ceremony, which is Rizal Gilmore. He is the founder of the Gal Foundation. He's also a motivational speaker and a cancer activist. And then we have our 3-time national award-winning poet, Janine Hall, coming through on that night. And she just released a book as well. I think it was last week. So I'm excited about the night. We're going to crown our Survivor of the Year. We're going to award our community warrior, and then we're going to financially bless an individual warrior that is going through cancer right now. So I cannot do this without your support, and that's monetary, and that's you showing up. So however you want to support Warriors Talk is very much appreciated. You can go to Warriors Talk and find out how you can donate. You can go to Eventbrite if you want to donate. You can Cash App me if you would like to donate as well. The Cash App is the $, the capital W, Warriors spelled out with an S, and then talk. Or you can go to Eventbrite and type in Survivors Night of Reflection Gala, and you can make your donation on there. You can also sponsor a ticket for someone else, a survivor, to come so that they can get around some other survivors, to give them some hope, to encourage them and empower them. You can, there's so many things that you can do to help. And let me just say in advance, I appreciate each and every one of you who have supported Warriors Talk from the time we started up until this moment. Your support is appreciated, and I am grateful for it. So join me tomorrow for day 15 of 31 days, 31 facts in recognition of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This is author Lady ReShell of Take Charge of Cancer and the founder of Warriors Talk, where we empower individuals to take action that leads to a healthier lifestyle.